Hey guys, good morning. Somebody was asking about these are dolmens. This is on a site called Solving the Enigma of Dolmens. And somebody asked me about melted houses, and what I was starting to think of is coal, right? What is coal made of? When you look at coal, it looks like wood, right? It's non-renewable energy source because it takes millions of years to form sedimentary rock with a high amount of carbon and hydrocarbons. But when you look at coal, a lot of the what coal looks like is wood. I mean, this is just, what we've learned about our world is, completely upside down. We don't have real information, but if you've ever touched coal or looked at coal, it looks exactly like, go to a barbecue and put a piece of wood, or mesquite, and then, light it on fire. And then ask yourself if this is wood. And I started to think about how they're claiming coal is formed. And then, the history of the world. Okay, was there a flood? It seems there was a flood. But in some of the flood pictures where the flood, it looks like the building is sinking into the ground. The water only goes up a certain to a certain level. I'm not buying that level would kill trees. I'm just not buying it. I think the trees were cut. And that is what it looks like to me. I mean, if you have another argument for it, you can make it. So they're claiming there's a swamp 300 million years ago. Okay, but they're showing trees, but they're not showing the big trees. Then there's dirt and dead plants, rocks and dirt, and then coal. I believe that coal has to do with a fire. Now, did they set the fire? I mean, why were there coal mines? Why were people getting black lung in the coal mines? And I just think that, I've been following this channel that thinks all of these are wood, petrified. Okay, some of it might be covered with mud from the mud flood. But I don't think these are melted houses. So somebody was asking me about melted houses. And, there's a lot of evidence here where people are claiming this to be, rocks. And then they lifted this rock, this giant stone, where it's the argument that is better to me, like after watching many of these videos, is that this is wood. And that there's some kind of construction going on in here. And I don't know what this is. They claim, there's one on here that's really funny. I'm just going to show it to you. Okay, so this, if you've ever seen the dolmens, this has like a plug, right? And the plug, it looks like to be a giant rock. Okay. And if people get in here for safety or shelter, whatever this was previously made of, I don't know, but I have a feeling this was wood. And then this person on here, his name is Wise Up. I started to watch him, and it looks like some of the carvings are added later. Some of the paintings that we think are ancient, paintings from Egypt. Just looking at the ruin, the site of the ruin, they're claiming these paintings are, found and preserved somehow, where it looks like they're just added later. If you just look with your eyes at it, I don't know what purpose this was. If it could have been, a modern day, like they made some kind of shelter for people to sit under, or if it was, I don't know. But I do think they were originally made of wood, right? It looks like wood. It just looks like wood. But it's stone, turned to stone. There was this song called Turn to Stone. I believe that all of the evidence we need is always in songs, literature, sayings. Beggars can't be choosers because they keep people as slaves. And they don't get to choose if they work or if they get injured or, they say it all the time in media. Okay, these aren't this is the one. Wait, is this the one? So what they say is this was transported. These giant stones were transported. First of all, I don't know how they would know that these were transported from anywhere. I think there's just a lot of false information. But I do believe the more and more pictures I start to look at, and I don't know if these are what they were talking about with the melted houses, because a lot of what I've seen is that these ancient structures in Egypt are, they're not what they appear to be. Ancient homes in mountains and then Egypt. Let me see. Okay, so some of this stuff I've actually seen where they make something into what looks to be a giant bone. I've actually seen that where there's a very good case where there's a strange shape, not like this. This is just, I don't know what this is. If this was, I don't know what this is. It doesn't look the same age as this. This looks a completely different age than this. But maybe it was covered by mud. This one's interesting. So when you guys are asking me about the melted houses, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean do you mean coal? Or do you mean this kind of thing? Let's see. Now, this is supposed to be some mysterious, cave dwelling. This is called Guyaju, or Guyaju. Not sure how to say it. But I don't think they were burrowing, perfect squares into a stone. I believe this was originally, just, regular construction, and then something happened. What happened? I don't know. I can't begin to tell you. Was it a flood? Was it a great flood? There's also some great fires. It's kind of interesting one. I haven't seen this one, but there's a lot of different things that it looks like they made them to look old, and they're I mean, some of them, they look the age. They look their age. And some of them just looks different, you know. This thing looks to be a tree right here. You know, like it was a giant tree. So what happened, you know, I just started to think about Joni Mitchell, you know, they start cutting down these trees, maybe, you know, with the idea to, I don't know, or with the trees, because when you see the mud flood, it only goes up a certain level. I don't think that would be enough to kill a tree that goes up, you know, as far as these trees would go up, right? It just doesn't make sense. So a lot of these structures, I do believe there's been ancient civilizations for sure, but I don't know, when you guys are asking, I don't know which melted houses you mean. Because I tried to look for something called melted houses and I couldn't find it. So this is definitely, again, it looks like it's not carvings. It's what appears to be wood. And then, I don't know what these are. I don't know if these are, a lot of these have what looks to be rebar coming out of them, you know, metal coming out. So I think that things were created and then they're claiming it's, I mean, there was an ancient civilization for sure. I mean, look at this. There was something before. But to claim that they're, I mean, this, what is this? That looks to be wood, and then it changes over time to limestone. I was taken to this park when I was a little girl, Limestone. It's called Limestone, up near Big Sur. But it just looks like something happened. Like this was a huge structure, maybe for a bunch of people to live in. And then just over time, it just turns into something else. This actually still looks like to be wood. On some of them, you can see the metal where it rusts down. This one's interesting. I'm trying to click it and it won't go closer. This looks again like a tree. This is a tree, right? These are just regular modern structures, so I don't think they're saying that this is, I mean, this looks almost like Devil's Tower. I think they cut these trees. I mean, that's just, it's just an instinct. Maybe to make coal or fuel. I don't know. But I'm not sure that trees went in a cataclysm, but, you know, the world before as we know it, there's many mysteries hidden just in plain sight. In plain sight. I mean, what's this? What's this? And some people think they're, you know, stones are created. I mean, what is this stuff? You know, some people think it's this kind of thing. I mean, all this. What is this? Is this some kind of, I don't know. Some people think it's a body part. I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm looking at here. But I do know that these were regular structures, and I believe they were built out of wood into maybe a tree, where they didn't have to, you know, build it up, or something happened. But these croppings, the way they look, to me look like trees. It's really disgusting because these natural parks, you look at them now very differently. Like we're just looking at a slaughter of trees.